Jamie, it's great to finally meet you. I want to thank you for taking the time to do this interview with us. And I want to thank Foot Levelers for all the support that they've shown the PCA in the past. You have been an integral part of the way we're working with vendors, and we appreciate all the support that you've given us. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. My pleasure.
Can you share a little bit about you and about your history and about why you chose to come back to the Foot Levelers team as it's a legacy business and brand for you?
Sure. Foot Levelers is 73 years old this year. It was founded in 1952 by my grandfather. And we have been very focused and devoted to Foot Levelers, to the brand, and to the doctors and the patients that we serve for more than 7 decades. And I have been a part of the business arguably since I was born. Always grew up getting chiropractic care, and that was just a part of my life, as it probably has been for many people in this profession who grew up with chiropractors in their family. Pursued international development after school because I did a lot of volunteer work and I was focused on helping others. That's always been something that's given me a lot of joy. I had a lot of different experiences for about 15 years and always related to health and wellness and well-being. Most recently, before joining Foot Levelers in 2020, I was with the World Bank and I was working on food and nutrition security. So the quality of the type of food that people eat and the direct and the relationship between how healthy they are and making sure that they're not nutrient deficient so that they can be productive members of society and healthy. So that was really interesting. But I just kept feeling like I really needed to get back to being a part of the company more directly. I had worked for the company when I was much younger, about 15 years ago, and just couldn't stop thinking about all the impact that we were having. Whenever I travel, I've been to chiropractors in Cambodia. I've been to chiropractors in Indonesia and all the continents where I would travel. India, I always would seek them out and would always have conversations about where did they go to school and what kind of techniques do they use and what does their patient care plan look like in a different country that might be different from the US. So I've always felt a very close connection to that. And really in 2020 is when I had decided, actually before we knew anything that would happen with that thing that we call COVID, I had planned to come back and join the company because I'm at a point right now where I really want to invest talking with the customers and talking with the patients who benefit from what we do and all of our products. So that's really a huge passion of mine. And I feel very fortunate to be able to wake up every day and do that.
Thank you for your international work. That's fantastic and laudable, and it's so important. Thank you for coming back because we've really seen some great things with Foot Leveler since you've been part of it. Can you tell us a little bit about why chiropractic? Why is chiropractic such an important intersection with Foot Levelers and their product? Why does that fit well with the chiropractic community as a whole?
Sure, it's our foundation. My grandfather was a chiropractor when he started the company in 1952. If I could tell the genesis story, it's really cool. He was practicing and he was referring patients to another doctor and not getting the great result that he wanted. And so he decided that he was going to make his own insert in the shoe. And that's when he realized, I know that the foot has three arches. I know that some of the other products out there are only supporting one or maybe two at most. And in order to have that strong plantar vault support, you've got to be able to support all three. In a garage, it's a very American dream story. He tinkered and whittled and came up with the first prototype for what we use today. Eventually developed a lot of patents and algorithms, and we've got a lot of wonderful technology that we use. But it's the chiropractic is the foundation, being able to support the body. We make something for your shoe, but it's actually for your whole body.
Mm.
So your feet benefit from it. You're not going to probably be as fatigued the next trade show or weekend session that you're in continuing education classes. But really, if you're able to support your foot, you're supporting your kinetic chain all the way up to your atlas. And that's really part of what we do because we support the whole body. And that's what chiropractic is.
So following that line of thinking, let's talk a little bit about a chiropractor who chooses to have Foot Leveler products as part of their services, who has the scanning machine and the technology that you bring into the practice. What is the benefit for a chiropractor who currently doesn't have that level of support for their patients that they're missing out on by not having that as part of their practice?
The adjustments are not going to be in place as long. The minute we've done so much testing with this, and it's probably something that many chiropractors experience as well, is if someone is having a chronic issue and you've got the muscles are being pulled back into place, or the ligaments are not where they need to be. The soft tissue is really inflamed. You're going to need more treatments. And the more you can align your body to be able to hold that adjustment, the better. The moment that you bear weight on your body after you get off the adjusting table, you've got your navicular and your cuboid and these cornerstone bones and joint that support the arches in your feet. If you don't have that support, those are directly correlated to other larger muscle groups, and it will affect your strength and your ability to remain strong. We tested this in kinesiology as well. So there's a lot that has gone into being able to support your whole body through your feet. And I would just say, I think it's a wonderful thing to be able to put something in someone's shoe and have them say, my feet don't hurt, but my gosh, my back pain's gone. And we know why, right? Because as chiropractor, I'm not a chiropractor, but I can speak to what I know about what our product does in supporting a chiropractic adjustment, which is it helps it hold longer, and it helps the person be able to at the pace of life that he or she is running. If you are really active, or even if you've got some light to moderate activity throughout your day, you're going to be supported with every step you take. And really interesting, the other day, we just published a case study about a patient who had written us a testimonial because their shoulder pain went away when they started the orthotic. They had chronic shoulder pain that they had for 20 years. They were getting cortisone shots in their shoulder, and they started wearing our orthotics, and they've done away with all of that other additional treatments because they're actually supported, and it all starts with their feet. So again, we can't take for granted the importance of the feet in relationship to the rest of the body.
And I guess it goes that old adage, without a good foundation, everything falls apart.
Like,
Yeah,
don't cracks in the foundation. You're going to have walls that are going to be unlevel and uneven, and floors. And so the higher up you go, your roof's going to be really crooked.
So Foot Levelers has introduced with 3D scanning and digital technology. Can you talk a little bit more about that, the benefit? How does that help really dial in, if you will, the device that a patient ultimately gets?
We're the first company to come out with that. We've had digital scanning for almost 25 years, but the 3D aspect of our technology we've had for about 12 years now. What's new is the translation of that digital technology to take an image of your neck, which is what we're doing right now to make our custom. So we're applying the same technology using 280,000 data points on your feet and 140,000 data points in your neck to be able to take an image of the person and their actual brain, and then make a pillow specifically for them. So that's been our really cool newest innovation and technology that we've brought into the market. And we're pre-selling now, and we're going to be shipping those wonderful pillows in August. And it's been something that's been in development for about 5 years. So we're really excited to bring that to life.
Now, is that the name of that business, Pillow Levelers, or are you sticking with the Foot
No,
Levelers
it's
brand?
Nexi. And Nexi originally stood for Neck Ergonomics with Intelligence, because we use a lot of intelligence and data to be able to construct this per person. And it's been really fun. But if you think about how many things there are to solve for, we've got CPAP accommodations. We solve for GERD and other issues that you might have with acid reflux while you're sleeping. And so all of those things as part of intake, as well as your mattress being firm or soft, and are taken into consideration, as well as your actual imagery that we get. There's a ton of customization to you and to your sleeping habits, which has made this really revolutionary. I'm not aware of anything else that exists. And it's the new, and that's the camera at the top that complements the 3D scanning at the feet.
Would you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, about the technology.
Sure.
It's called the Posture Check 3D. And the Posture Check 3D has amazing qualities. It's got an enhanced report of findings, which is the number one thing that doctors love because their patients love it. Because when the patient steps on and gets both a foot and a neck scan, it tells the entire story of the kinetic chain of what's happening in the feet, what's happening in the neck. And someone might say, oh my gosh, I'm so pronated. Look at how flat my feet are. And then the doctor has the ability to say, yes, this is why you've got that low back pain. This is a part of the sciatica that you're experiencing. Or some of it's trauma related to a very specific incident, but it tells the story to the patient. And that's something that we hear over and over from our doctors, is saying, gosh, I don't have to really over explain or go into a lot of technical detail because everything's right there. There's beautiful visuals, there's stories, there's graphics on the screen and videos. And then when the patient gets to take that report of findings home, and discuss that with anybody in their family or friends or whatnot before they might make a decision to purchase something. They understand why. And Dr. Mani, my grandfather who founded Foot Levelers, used to always say, when they know why, they comply. So if you're able to really communicate something clearly to your patient and explain to them why it's important, pharma has done this really well, right? Like, if you don't take this pill, you're going to die. And then people just say, okay, the cause and the effect to explain that the same way to our patients so that they understand that there's a cause and effect and your body's so sensitive and innately brilliant and a miracle. We are all miracles, cellular miracles, and we have the ability to heal. And so if we're able to have the right conditions, which is when you go to a chiropractor, gives your body a better likelihood of healing because it's going to give you a better condition in which to heal after you have your adjustment. We want to do the same thing. So when you leave the adjusting table and you've got your Foot Levelers orthotic and you've got your Nexi pillow and you're on a care plan, you've said yes to wellness. And that's what everybody wants more and more increasingly. We know that we've got the chronic pain issues that come in for those visits, but we know we've also got really health-minded people who are really into wellness. Longevity and biohacking is a big deal right now. I think that this falls in line with all of that.
I love the term yes to wellness. I think we need t-shirts that say that because it is one of
So
let's do it. So with all this technology from a practitioner standpoint, you're talking to 3,700 chiropractors here in the state of PA. You get these tools where you're doing these scans, you're able to impart this to your patients. How does that help in building that rapport with your patient long-term? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
how'd you ask this question? It's all about trust.
Yeah.
It's all about trust and building the relationship and understanding that someone might come to you and you're their last resort. And I'm sure all of the people who are listening, all of the DCs who, have lived this, I have not, but I hear about it all the time. Chiropractic, because I'm an advocate for chiropractic. If somebody will listen to me in a grocery store and I see that they're hunched over, I have business cards of multiple chiropractors in Roanoke. And I will say, you need to go see, where do you live? Okay, you need to go see this person because I believe in it so much. And so if we're able to communicate and build the trust with the person who this is their last resort in hopes to feeling better, you're going to make a big impact. And there's a sticky factor there if we want to align it to a business term, but there's also a human factor to this. And it's the referrals that will come from that. It's the gratitude and knowing that you're doing the right thing for another human being. And it all compounds. So I think trust is one of the biggest, most important things that you can establish with patients in order to be able to get them to yes and to get them to come back and really help them understand why they need to continue to invest in themselves.
I really wish chiropractic wasn't the choice of last result. I've been trying to coin the whole idea of whole health. Chiropractic is whole health.
Yes.
And it's amazing to me how many people I talk to about chiropractic and they say, oh, I've heard of this, but, and I hate that but. And it seems like that but is always put into place because someone is, I think, maybe fearful of what chiropractic is, fearful of what the intervention is. And I think maybe a little bit fearful of that personal responsibility that goes in, that's involved in saying, I'm going to take ownership of this and decide that I'm going to try something different. Not everything needs to be done with medication. There's nothing wrong with medication, in my personal opinion, but it's one of those things where I think we don't want to necessarily own the faults of where we are. And I like that Foot Levelers demonstrates the interventions that can be done that ultimately are going to bring long-term health to the patient itself.
I certainly hope so. And we see ourselves as a partner to all of the doctors and the clinics that we serve. We do feel, so humbled to be able to serve alongside you and with you as you work toward full health for your patients. And so we take that very seriously. It's core to how we operate and run our business, and it dictates how we give back on our philanthropy and what we continue to invest in. I would just say we are so grateful to be partners with all of you and would love to be able to support however many more doctors if they're interested in having us become a part of your practice, because it is life-changing. And I do, everybody thinks that their product is the best, but I know ours is the best. And I'm so proud of that because of how many millions and millions of people we've been able to help. Over 70 years. That's pretty good. That's
a good run. It's a good run. And you've committed to another 30. So that's
right here.
So let me ask this. For one of the things that we're pushing here in PA is really try to get more doctors, young doctors, to choose Pennsylvania. We don't have a beach here, so it makes it a little bit difficult to attract people here. But what kind of advice would you give a young doctor, perhaps practitioner who has a lot of debt, who's just starting out, on how they can integrate foot levelers into their practice? And not only that, but use it as part of their education strategy?
Sure. I think it's a great question and it's a twofer because it actually may be something where it's even more than that. You've got technology and communication all in one package. And I was talking about the reported findings earlier. I think that's a ticket to the game. Once your patient is able to really understand in this very easy to digest way that we have laid out this simple reported findings, they begin to understand the why behind why do I need to support my feet? If my feet don't hurt, that doesn't make any sense. If my feet don't hurt, why are you asking me? Why are you trying to sell me something for my feet? And that's the common misconception that we try and can talk through with our doctors. And we say, first of all, we don't sell anything. We only talk about things that will benefit you and improve your life. So if there's a cost to that, there's a cost to it. But let's turn the prism a little bit and talk about it in different terms. And so there's the communication piece. There's the trust that comes with that. And when we talk about first starting out with a new piece of technology, we recommend scanning every patient because, like I just said, feet are asymptomatic. You don't necessarily know if you're going to have a problem or if the back pain that you've come in to try and solve is related to the fact that you're completely pronated, almost, entirely flat-footed and you have no arch, which is why you have back pain. And the only way, because of plastic deformation, the only way to really be able to support yourself going forward is to be able to raise those arches, lift that plantar wall so that you've got some better support. It allows for that kind of conversation with the patients too. And so as a new doctor, you put it in your waiting room, you have it be part of your protocol to scan every patient. You start becoming really familiar with that. You come in 5 minutes early before the start of your exam. It's really a self-service model. So it was actually meant to be an assistant, almost like a chiropractic assistant or a CA, because it's completely self-serve. So a patient can go up and go through the entire journey, and then your staff can print the report of findings and have it ready. So when they go back to the treatment room, they've actually had a chance to maybe look at that because you've printed that out for them. You go back and you discuss it and they'll say, hey, I've read all about this. They're going to start asking you the questions about it. So you don't really have to do much work except for answer the questions. And you can say to them, yeah, you're a great candidate for this because these are all the factors that you've listed where it's already part of the intake as with some of the other things that we're taking your biometric data and whatever else is part of your process. You may take x-rays. This is all part of that. And so in order to get a really, holistic, complete view of the person and where they are in their health journey, this is a tool. And there's no other way to measure this other than taking a weight-bearing scan, which is what we do, right? There's x-rays, there's other things, there's adjunct care that you can get with laser therapies, of course, but that's after you've diagnosed the problem. This is part of the diagnosis phase. So in that regard, I think it's wonderful because so much of the work is done without the doctor's adjusting time. What we tell doctors all the time is this is not going to compete with anything you do with hands-on adjusting. You can have them do that completely by themselves and you can continue to adjust and see patients. Because the doctors who are so passionate about what they do, they want to be adjusting people. They want to have that hands-on time. We don't want to take that away from them. If they do need help going through the process, they can get their office assistant to do it. They can get their CA to do it. Foot Lovers actually offers, as part of purchasing this technology, we actually offer training for the staff for free as part of the onboarding. If they want it, we like to get everybody on board so that they can incorporate the protocol the same way. After that, it's just the system recommends some types of orthotics based on the input that has been and information that's put in the system. And then it's basically as easy as saying, yes, I'd like that, or no, I need another pair for my pair of flip flops too, which we did custom flip flops, which are really popular this time of year.
So talk to me a little bit more about if they're not currently in integrated practice with foot levelers, why should they want to learn more about foot levelers?
I would say that you have a tremendous opportunity to help more patients at a higher level than you maybe have before. And I know that's really audacious for me to say that, and I say that humbly. But I will tell you that the people that we work with have tremendous results. And it's a practice builder. It's a patient referral mechanism. Obviously, it's great revenue for you, but everybody wins. The
Right.
patient feels better. The compliance is great because all they have to do is put in their shoe and walk around. There's no repeating exercises they need to do. They don't have to set a timer to take a pill. They literally put on their shoes and they go about their day and they feel better. And every time they put on their shoe, they think about you and they think, I got these from my chiropractor. My chiropractor is so smart. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to tell. And they're going to be your biggest advocate in your community. And plus, the technology that you bring into your community and that being a differentiator to talk about how you're going to support your body beyond the adjusting tape is really unique too. And there's really nothing to lose. We have guarantees on everything. We have a year warranty on all of our orthotics a year, which is no other company does that. We're made in the USA right here in Virginia. We've got an amazing support staff. We've got tons of resources for training and onboarding. We've got amazing specials to be able to finance some of the technology, even though it's really not very expensive, especially compared to lasers. It's very affordable and we're here for you. And we invest in the profession. We give back so much of what we make back to the profession. I think we're up to over $37 million to the profession as of this year. We gave over $1.5 million last year. It's a wonderful thing to be able to support you all. And again, we do it for your patients. We do it for you, for your patients, because making people feel better, when people are feeling better and they're happier and they live a better quality of life, it raises the bar for everybody. So that's what we get excited about. We wake up every morning and we say, yeah, who are we going to impact today? Who do we get to impact today? And that's really exciting. So
That is exciting.
just call me. So if anybody have any follow-up questions or interested, I'd be happy to personally help you. You can email me. My email is Jamie, Jamie @footlevelers.com. Super easy. Drop me a note. I'd love to meet you. I'd love to connect with you and answer any questions and see if this would be something that you'd like to pursue. We'd love to be a part of your practice.
Jamie, thank you so much for being here. And thank you again for being such a supporter of the PCA. We need you and we really appreciate everything that you've done for us and for all the chiropractors here in the state of PA. So on behalf of the PCA, thank you and have a wonderful day.
You're so welcome. It's our pleasure. You too. Thank you so much for having me.